New Zealand's Prime Minister, Christopher Luxon, extended a formal and unreserved apology in Parliament, addressing decades of abuse, neglect, and mistreatment suffered by thousands of children and vulnerable adults under state and church care. Luxon's apology came as survivors of this systemic abuse, some visibly moved, watched from the public gallery. "It was horrific. It was heartbreaking. It was wrong. And it should never have happened," Luxon said, acknowledging the harrowing experiences endured by survivors. A nationwide investigation released in July revealed that around 200,000 people in state, foster, and religious institutions suffered unimaginable abuse over 7 decades. The abuse disproportionately affected Maori communities, New Zealand's indigenous people. Luxon recognized the government's responsibility, noting that the failures of past administrations led to the life-altering suffering of many. The Prime Minister expressed regret that vulnerable individuals, including children in foster and religious care, were subjected to abuse instead of being protected. He emphasized that these institutions should have been safe spaces where individuals were treated with respect and compassion, but instead, they became sites of cruelty. Luxon's apology represents the culmination of a 6-year inquiry, the largest of its kind in New Zealand, that exposed the depths of mistreatment in state and church institutions. The investigation's findings highlighted that nearly 1/3 of the 650,000 individuals in care from 1950 to 2019 suffered physical, sexual, verbal, or psychological abuse. While Luxon pledged action, with his government working on 28 of the inquiry's 138 recommendations, questions remain about financial reparations. Luxon stated that a unified redress system would be introduced in 2025, but he offered no figures or timelines for compensation, a point of contention among survivors and advocates. Survivors and their families gathered at Parliament to witness the apology, yet some expressed disappointment in the government's approach. Tu Chapman, a survivor who was invited to speak, criticized the arrangement that required survivors to share their experiences before Luxon's apology rather than after it. In response to the inquiry's findings, New Zealand's government has also introduced new measures aimed at improving safety within care institutions. These measures include a ban on strip searches of children, along with a National Remembrance Day set for November 12, dedicated to honoring the experiences of abuse survivors. Luxon closed his remarks by underscoring that the government's apology is just one step in a long journey toward healing and reform. As New Zealand grapples with its past, the nation's focus now turns to ensuring that the mistakes and injustices of previous decades are not repeated.